What's up, Slaptail Nation and members of the great Slaptail Army? It is I, your humble squad leader, the Beef Man. Say, do you like coffee? Of course you do. Who doesn't like coffee? Then may I recommend Scars and Stripes Coffee. Scars and Stripes Coffee empowers veterans to start their own e-commerce business. Every product sold empowers a veteran through commission or performance-based bonuses. Purchasing coffee and merchandise directly supports veteran entrepreneurs like friend of the show Carrie, not to be confused with the Ronz's Carrie. Carrie is a veteran of the United States Army. She has made it her personal mission to spread awareness of veteran suicide. Tragically, it is estimated that 22 veterans lose their lives each day to suicide. Now more than ever, veterans need our help and support to transition to civilian life. Take this opportunity to support an organization dedicated to empowering veterans and a veteran entrepreneur who is doing her part to combat veteran suicide. We here at the Slaptail Squad enjoy drinking Scars and Stripes coffee, and you should too. So check out her website at carriesbrews.org. Purchase some coffee and merchandise, and let her know you listen to the Slaptail Squad. You can also find her on Facebook at Carrie's Scars and Stripes Coffee, and on Instagram at Carries_brew. Who knows? If enough of you buy her coffee, maybe we can start offering a listener discount like a legit podcast. End of commercial. It's time for the Slaptail Squad.
Slaptail Squad, assemble.
This is the Slaptail Squad. I am the Beef Man. It's a late night edition of the Slaptail Squad. And let me just say that I'm so happy that all of you could join us, because it's a new age, it's a new era, and I can finally breathe a sigh of relief, a little bit less stress in the world. And I'm just happier. I'm a happier guy. With me today in the Beaver Den is my number one, Grogu. That's right. He's number one in the sun. And we're here. We're rolling it, slapping it, licking it. No, that's not right. And with me also is my number two, the Rons.
Hey.
There,
How you
there
doing?
he is, the Rons.
The Rons.
You know, I'm doing pretty good, Rons. You know what I gotta say before people jump in? That the Rons is a natural podcaster. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's very organic.
It's oh god, that fucking word. That fucking
I haven't
word,
heard
I
that
swear.
word in a long time.
Well, I was gonna give him a very big compliment, but of course then the Swan had to bust in, and also with us is the Swan.
Hey.
That's not
Why
you.
are- that's
Yeah,
not
it's not
you.
me.
That's not you, Rons.
That's not
Aren't
me.
you gonna say hello, Swan? I can't say hello until you say hello, Swan.
Well then moving on.
Moving on.
This is the ever stylish, for some reason, rocking the tank top again. I don't know why. Showing off the guns, I guess. He's with us today. Sexual Chocolate. Tremonde.
The one and the only. Hello, ladies
Sexual
and
chocolate.
gentlemen.
Sexual Chocolate. Tremonde, have you ever seen that movie?
I have, of course.
All right, then. That's good. You know there's going to be a number 2 coming out.
I do.
I'm
I'm
fucking
pretty excited about it.
Who is
Yeah.
excited? Who else is excited for that?
Apparently, not the Rons.
Apparently,
I've
you
never
don't know
seen
what I'm
it.
talking about either.
I've never seen the number 1 movie.
What? Okay, first of all right. Sexual Chocolate. You don't know what movie I'm talking about, Swan? Seriously?
I don't think so.
Ron,
How
don't
can
let
you-
me down, man. Oh, you know this movie.
How can you not? It's a classic.
Coming to America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming
I
to
do.
America?
I have, but it was a long time ago.
I do.
I do.
Royal penis is now clean. Nothing.
Got problems.
It's the line from that movie. The line from that movie, people.
It's a really good
Okay.
movie. Yeah, I'm excited about the second of Coming to America, and because the fact that they're bringing back a lot of the original cast members. So
I know.
Pretty
Can't
great.
wait to see Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall do a shitload of characters. It's gonna be good, man.
yes,
Oh yeah, yeah. I think so too. I'm going to enjoy the way they do the barbershop. I'm looking forward to that barbershop scene. I think it was. Have you seen the
So
trailer with the barbershop scene?
so you have seen the movie.
Coming to America, yeah, but I don't remember the sexual chocolate thing.
When they're in the church and they're doing the beauty pageant, right? They got it's not a beauty, whatever. All the hot chicks coming up, and then Eddie Murphy's playing the singer in the band, Sexual Chocolate. Or was it our singing? Who was it? Was Eddie Murphy or no? It was Eddie Murphy.
It was Eddie.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was Eddie Murphy. Sexual Chocolate, Ron's. Sexual Chocolate.
I will have to look at that movie again.
Powder
I thought it
blue
was hilarious.
suit.
I really did.
That's when the powder blue suits were a thing. Did you all wear powder blue to your proms?
I did not.
I did not. Of course, I didn't go to a prom, so it didn't really matter.
Aw.
No, but we had band uniforms that were holdovers from, I guess they would have probably been from the 80s. So the band uniforms had the frilly shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and this was our concert uniforms.
I'm sure that was cute.
Oh, it was awesome. We had frilly white shirts, and then our blazers were red with like black trim and like big collars, and then black pants. I'm sure I've got a picture of me somewhere in that wonderful outfit. Thankfully, by the time when I was a junior, we got new ones, and they looked like actual black tuxedos, which was much better. Much better.
Did
But
you
I
wear
have-
powder blue to your prom, Tremonde?
I did not.
Did you
I
go
bet
to-
you were classy though.
I did. So my mom used to like rent me out, if you will.
Your mom
So-
pimped you?
Pretty much. Like I went to like 4 proms. Like I think I started my 10th grade year, and I went to like 4 proms. And, like my mom would like sign me up to like go with different
Your cousin?
females.
No.
Yeah, no family members. That'd have been weird, but yeah,
No,
I never
not that
wore-
your mom's pimping you out already for proms. That's that weird.
It was a little bit.
Did you know these girls that your mom pimped you out to go with?
Yes, some of them, yes. I think one of them I didn't know.
Now, how many of them did you bang?
0.
Zero? Tremonde. Mommy would have killed him though.
Because at that point, I was like a really good boy, and my senior prom, like I was like the girl and I, we were thinking we were going to do something, and then a cop like pulled up behind the car and was like, "Hey, take y'all asses home." So
Dang.
Were any of these proms at your school, or did you have to go to other schools?
2 of them were at my school, and two of them were at other high schools.
So when you were at the other high schools, did you do any like fake voices or anything like that?
No,
You didn't pretend to be from Jamaica? Like, hey
No.
man, it's so
I was-
great to be at this prom. Hold
I
on
wasn't
just
that
1
cool.
second. And then you could do that whole thing where you whip out your penis and you're like, "Woof." Hey girl, how are you today? Woof.
used it like
I
a
see you
helicopter.
sitting all alone on the beach here. Looking mighty fine over there you are.
When it's flaccid, it says Wendy. When it's, when it's fully erect, it said have a nice day.
I think he was trying to make a joke, but that wasn't really funny.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't organic.
And
Oh,
that was
boy.
the B-Man stealing another bit from Eddie Murphy. Poorly
Okay.
done. Poorly done, actually. Poorly done. I see you sitting all alone on the beach. Where's your man? Oh, your man not here right now.
So, Big Man, who is your favorite comedian then?
Who's my favorite comedian?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question. There's so many really good comedians out right now.
Well, past or current.
I love Eddie Murphy. Really, quite a bit. He might be my favorite, actually. Sam Kinnison's pretty good. He gets a little loud. Yeah, unfortunately, he's dead. Oh, that sucks. I used to like Robin Williams a little bit, but not like a ton. His characters are all like, I don't know, they're all kind of the same, so it gets a little bit boring for me. Let me see. I like a lot of the new people. I like kind of the long story instead of the one-liners also. So I like Mark Maron. He does a pretty good routine. I'd like to see him live when all the pandemic is behind us. I'd like to go see Mark Maron. I like Rodney Dangerfield. He fucking was awesome. So I like a lot of the old ones, but I mean, I'm all up about seeing like any of the new comedy specials, which is kind of nice with Netflix. They're always having new comedy specials. But in my top 3 or 4, I'd still say probably Eddie Murphy and probably Dave Chappelle are my top 2. I like Dave Chappelle a lot.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle's really good.
He keeps it pretty organic also. He's pretty
that's great. Sam Kinison for me when I was growing up just came out of nowhere. I mean, him and Andrew Dice Clay just broke the mold. And I just watched Sam Kinison again doing a routine, and I was just floored by what he did. In fact, he did a guest appearance on, the one with Al Bundy, right?
Oh, Married with Children.
Married with Children. Yeah, he plays Al's guardian angel, and I watched that entire episode, and I was just rolling on the floor. I mean, I've heard it like a couple of times, but when he just goes through it, and it's like anybody who's ever been in a relationship or just had a bad day, this is the guy that just came out of anywhere and just killed it. Eddie Murphy's good. I like Eddie Murphy. He broke the norms again. And Rodney Dangerfield, I like his routine. Robin Williams really was good for me. I really did like it because he always took it in a way that I always thought was hilarious. Right? He always played off of people. And I think a lot of people, I miss that because you don't see that too often anymore. Because he knew how to handle a crowd, and if someone yelled back or someone left his, and he does it quite often, if someone left his audience, he'd stop the entire routine and just wait for that person to come back. And I'm like, oh, did you have a good bathroom break? And he just goes off the wall on that.
Yeah, a lot of comedians nowadays say that he was really good, so... Yeah, he's good. I mean, Richard Pryor also real good.
Definitely,
awesome.
Definitely.
So a lot of comedians, I feel like, kind of spawned or spurned off of Richard Pryor as well. So, and a lot of the comedians, when you hear them interview, because they'll talk about the Comedy Store and all the different comedy clubs, a lot of them say that, what's his name? Jay Leno was actually really pretty good, which kind of surprises me that he would be good at stand-up. I feel like I don't know. I've never seen a stand-up. I don't know.
Well,
I just always think of him as. Right. That's
well. I meant to say talk show hosts.
Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about comedians. Anyway, back to the whole science. Anyway, back to the whole sigh of relief thing. I think it's pretty obvious why I'm now more relaxed. I feel like things are better now that the orange monster is out of the White House. I think that things are markedly better.
I think it's more tan, and what you and the swan do in your bedroom is okay. If you want to call it the orange monster, that's fantastic.
Mine is only the orange monster if I've been eating a lot of Cheetos, and it's still not a monster.
Alrighty.
More like the orange. More like the orange inchworm. Or like
Swan doesn't want to say anything to that.
Like
okay.
I just want to tell you that if I eat Cheetos, I eat them with gloves on, because I don't like them to turn my fingers orange. And I'm not even lying. Just in case.
Okay, well, you interrupted me.
I did. I'm sorry.
And I was gonna say more like the orange Tic Tac. Okay, moving on. I don't mean to brag, but when I have sex, it's like throwing a Tic Tac down the hallway.
Yeah. By the way, I really wish our viewers or listeners could see some of the texts that you shoot back and forth that we play back and forth today. Like when you go, we have like 3 hours before showtime, get your shit together. And I'm like, I was in the middle of doing something. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to be a smart ass and I'm going to reply this way. And then I would show Carrie, and she's like, you didn't send that, did you? I'm like, yes, I did. It's like, okay. And then, of course, going back and forth. I just love it. And then Tremonti weighs in. I just shot all over myself. And I'm like, well, that was fantastic. So I'm glad someone got a great time out of that.
They got off on it.
So we
That's
were
what
talking.
she said.
That's what she said. So, Tremonde, we were talking about comedians. What are your favorite comedians out there?
I love me some Kevin Hart. Um, Mike Evans, I think is absolutely hysterical. Um, and then like I have to give like respect to like some of the classics like Red Fox and Sinbad, and
Yeah,
yeah.
Red Fox is awesome.
those guys, um, because I know that like their work kind of like paved the way for a lot of others to do what it is that they do. Um, so yeah, Bernie Mac was another one.
Oh yeah, Bernie Mac was
Taken
great.
away too soon, but
Yeah,
yeah.
so was Red Fox. I think he when he had his heart attack, he was on set and everybody thought he was kidding, right? And
Mm.
they didn't rush to him, right? So yeah, Red Fox is great. In fact, when you watch some of his earlier stuff, it was I don't know if a lot of the comics that we grew up on that I used to watch could get away with any of the stuff that they say today, right?
Probably not.
No.
Well, you also have to remember back then there were no comedy clubs. Comedy clubs is a fairly new thing in the past, like 30, 40 years.
Yeah,
There
they
didn't
used
used
to
to be
open.
comedy clubs.
Yeah, they used to open up at strip clubs.
And they used to open up for like singers and,
Yeah.
whatever, anything else. Can you imagine being a comedian and opening up for, like, what's his name? The one that everybody loves back in the day.
The Tremonde.
No.
No. But
Anyway,
no. I understand where you're coming from because I remember watching a concert on TV and Howie Mandel opened up for this venue. And I heard all sorts of crap that they had to endure, right? Because you're out there and it's like someone yelled out a racist term in him. And he's trying to be funny. He's doing his balloon or that thing on his head when he would breathe
the
into
glove.
it. Yeah, the
You mean the
glove.
glove? Yeah.
And so a lot of these comedians had to endure a lot of stupidity and crap to make it big. That's why I like them, right?
Yeah.
Howie Mandel was great too.
Yeah. I used to also love some of Roseanne's
Yeah, she's good stand up.
show. Yeah. Her dry humor
Yeah.
was like great on her show.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying. Now that we got rid of the orange monster, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, obviously I'm talking about I don't even like to say his name. We've been playing cards, and now, when you ask what suit something is in, you say what's Trump or that sort of thing. Now I'm like, I don't even like to say that. Now I want to say, what suit of cards do you want to bid in, as opposed to saying what's Trump. But now Trump is out of the White House, and if you're listening to the Slaptail Squad and you don't like my opinion on Trump, well then,
go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. But listen anyway.
Yeah,
because it's
I wasn't going to
controversial.
say that. Yeah. That is my right, in my opinion, to be so. And for some reason, we keep losing friends. I don't know what the deal with people is. They're still getting all butthurt about everything. But hey, you know what? Everything's going to be fine, people. Everything's going to be fine. It's actually going to be better.
I feel like people are, like, you mean losing friends on like Facebook and stuff? Because I feel like people are turning that stuff off. Like more and more people have said, I'm done with social media and I'm going to turn my Facebook off. So
Good.
maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. But that brings us to our topic of today, which is, what is Ron's a narcissist?
Is Ron's a narcissist?
Oh, if I'm a narcissist. Well, all right. There are 9 official criteria for being a narcissist.
It was a question. And
Ron can't answer a question. We know this.
He immediately started talking about himself.
I did not start talking about myself, right? But what is a narcissistic? What makes what is a narcissistic person or an arrogance person, right? And I actually did a little research onto this.
No, not the same thing.
All right.
Let's do it then. Let me ask each individual person what a narcissist is, or a narcissistic person, and then we'll find out what their source is, or even if it's just their own opinion. How about that?
You're the boss, me man.
And then are you going to read us a definition or something?
In due time, Swan. In
Okay,
due
I'm just
time.
asking.
I'm watching Tremonti. I just like how he's eating and being on his phone.
I'm
Hey,
doing a little research
the
here.
man is
At least
using
he's
mute appropriately.
I was gonna say at least he's muting himself appropriately, unlike whoever was vacuuming at the
Like
Ron's
you.
house.
No one was vacuuming. I'm the one that vacuums in the house.
There he goes again, complimenting himself. I'm going to start with the Rons. Rons, go ahead and tell us what your definition is of, and I'll let you, is it narcissism that you're going to define? Is it a narcissistic person? Are you defining narcissistic personality disorder? Or are you defining narcissistic traits? What is it that what are you bringing to the table, Rons? You have 25 seconds. Go. No, just kidding. You don't have time limit. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, speaking personally, am I narcissistic? I think we all are, but I am, right? To a point. Yeah, we all are, right? We have a deep need for excessive attention and admiration. I mean, where else will, do we do what we do? Do we have a sense of entitlement sometimes? Yeah, we all do, right? Some more than others, some less than others. At some point, do we lack empathy for that person or persons? Oh yeah, there are people who have wronged us in the past that we just don't get over. Do we have any empathy for them if something happens? Oh hell no, no, right? Do we envy others, right? Or do we believe that others are envious of them or us? Yeah, we do, right? We often talk about that when we say, I would like to have a lot of money to be like that person, rich, right? Successful, right? Sometimes we're just not happy with what we have right now. We want more. We're in this consumption mode constantly, right? And sometimes
I don't know.
so
I think
okay.
that's 4 rights so far, but okay, we're not counting.
Okay.
Are you counting Tremonti? Are you counting Swan? You got a
Well,
little tick mark?
No, I was just making up a random number, but that was probably about accurate.
Right. Sometimes we have a deep need for excessive attention and admiration. Look at me. Look what I've done. I mean, let's face it.
Look
We
at
all know
me.
that I'm a black belt.
Oh yeah, I knew
There
it.
we
I
go.
knew it.
We got it in, right? But sometimes it's like, look what I can do, right? Look at Grogu. Look what he can do. Grogu, right? Yeah, cool. I mean, there are other characteristics, but can we all relate? Yeah, in some way or another. And does it matter to others? No. But at some point, when does it become toxic is the actual underlying tone to all this, too.
Did you say poon?
No.
Did you see the underlying poon?
Tone.
Oh, I said, what is the underlying poon? I'm like, what?
But does that make you a narcissist or just an asshole? Because there's a difference, I think.
Either. Everything that he's talking about, if you have stray thoughts like that, is not being a narcissist.
Right.
Those are stray human thoughts. There's a big difference between having a thought about something as opposed to that is actually what your personality is. There's a big difference.
Okay, with that said, though, but how often does that consume you, right?
That's the point. What you're talking about is stray thoughts. That's not what a narcissist is. But anyway.
Spoken like a true narcissist.
Okay, so,
Beefman, can you give us your perception?
No, I don't want to do it yet.
Okay.
He wants you to go next. You go next.
Narcissistic personality disorder is actually a medical condition. So what I'm going to reference to you, and today, folks, for our reference, I would like to say thank you to the DSM-5, or the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, rather. Edition 5, or V. I know that looks like a 2, but it's actually a V.
Do you get to be the subject matter expert for this because you're a doctor?
Well, I think it's very important for everyone to know, and everyone who listens to the Slaptail Squad already knows this. This is an idiot podcast. Case in point, the idiots I'm currently looking at on my screen on Skype. So, am I an expert? Absolutely not. I am an expert at nothing. The only thing that I would consider
is that
myself...
a narcissistic statement saying you're an expert at nothing, therefore you're an expert at something?
I was just getting ready to finish what I was saying.
Let me finish.
Because it's all about Ron's, I stopped talking so that he could interrupt. If I may continue.
Continue.
Maybe the only thing that I'm an expert at is nothing. I thank you.
So, as far as in this podcast, you are the expert, subject matter expert in this group of 4. So we're going to give you that.
A narcissistic personality disorder is indeed a diagnosis. A narcissistic personality disorder must meet the following criteria.
Wait, were you going to let Tremonde and I answer what we think it is?
Tremonde asked me to do it.
But then you said you were not going to.
Okay.
And then you remonopolized.
No, because you guys kept pushing. Roz was like, hey, you tell me, motherfuckers.
I don't think I used that tone.
Tell me, motherfucker. All right, then, Swan. Go ahead.
I was asking Tremonde. But okay.
So now you're dictating what happens on the podcast.
Yes, because I'm self-important.
Aren't we all self-important?
No, not you. You can't be.
Wow.
Apparently, now Tremonde. Go ahead.
I was interested in the Beast Man because his is a little bit more factual than mine is just personal thoughts and opinions.
But I think that's good. Give us your personal opinion, and then I'll give you mine.
That's why I wanted to go last.
Right. That's why I second that you should go last.
So similar to what the Rons were saying, something they said is that I feel like a person who displays like such behaviors, it reached a point to where it becomes, he used the term toxic. And I think that is a very powerful word, and it kind of what the Beef Man was starting to go off into, which I think he's going to come back to. It's how to say it. Sorry, Beef Man, you got to
use your words. Use your words, Tremonde. Yeah, use them.
Take that cock out of your mouth and talk.
Damn it, I lost my thought. Just cut that whole piece out.
Cut that whole piece out. No, we're keeping it.
You were going on I mentioned the word toxic.
Yeah, and I was going off into something that the Beef Man was saying, but maybe it'll come back to me once we circle back around the conversation.
Oh,
beautiful
so
Swan.
Now we've got to circle back around to Tremonde because he's not ready.
Well, I'm going
because ready.
Once you have your thoughts, Beef Man, the conversation can continue.
Ooh.
Or is it once the Beef Man speaks, then that is the end of that subject matter?
That is spoken. The end.
Then we'll come back then.
I think a narcissistic person is somebody. What? Stop interrupting me. I have the microphone. And if you don't want me to tell the story 5 fucking times I lived in Detroit. Y'all can mute yourself and be quiet. Because this one time I lived in Detroit. Anyway, stupid. I don't like you. So I think a narcissistic person is somebody who has an inflated. You stop giving me the boring symbol. I don't even like you guys. I'm gonna cry. And you all can go fuck yourselves. Yep, I'm gonna squirt some. Definitely. Somebody who has an inflated sense of their self-importance and their abilities, and they're delusional and they lack empathy for others, like Ron said. But I think a lot of narcissistic people know that they are it. And they pride themselves on that. Like being like, yes, I am the smartest person you'll ever meet. And I'm the most famous person, or I have more money, or I'm going to be the most intelligent person. Or how about everybody who looks at themselves all the time in the freaking mirror and posts 1,000 selfies online of themselves working out every single thing they eat, and they want likes. So do they want that because they are seeking that attention, or do you think they have I also think they have low self-esteem and they're seeking the approval of others. So they have both. Do
they give themselves that label though?
Some of them do. So some of them are so look at me because they think they are the best ever. And then I think others try to compensate for the fact that they have low self-esteem. So they try to get the likes of others to boost their self-confidence.
Sort of like maybe showing off a brand new coffee cup somebody got and going, look what I got that you don't have.
Yeah. No, not like that. Like people who work out for an hour, maybe, but they spend 4 hours editing their workout to put online and getting the right pose for their post-workout selfie with 80 filters and all that. That doesn't even really look like them anyway.
Okay. Interesting.
So, Tremonde, did you find your words yet?
I didn't find my words, but I do have some thoughts. So I'm thinking back to some of the things that the former president done, and some of like the things that he would post and tweet, and it was what I find in like such behaviors is that when you take yourself and put yourself above a subject matter that is much more important than you getting a like, that is when it becomes, as I was saying earlier, like toxic. There's no way that you can put yourself, you and your name, above things that the world is experiencing right now, things that are causing people to die, things that are causing people to lose their homes and things and businesses. Like that's the point where I feel like it is too much, and you should identify and or can be labeled as such. Be mad.
Right. So, yeah. So that was my point, is what Ron's was talking about is common human thoughts that people have. And whether you might say that somebody's a narcissist or narcissistic, regardless of whether you say that or not, it's because we have this preconceived notion of what a narcissist actually is. I'm looking at it more along the lines of what a true narcissist is. And a true narcissist is not somebody who has these occasional thoughts about, oh, I deserve more than this person has, or I want to just manipulate this person to achieve my goals, or that sort of thing, or this person treated me like shit in high school and they're not doing so well, so I feel pretty good about myself. Those are all really common thoughts that humans have. That's not a narcissist. Not a medical definition of what a narcissist
well, you're looking at the
is.
medical definition, right? And sometimes the medical definition versus the reality of it, while they might coincide, sometimes it's vastly different, right? Look at the word empathy, right? Feeling and understanding one's suffering, possibly, right? Lack of empathy, right? So you're still feeling the same thing, but you're taking it away from that person. So honestly, the definition, while it might be the same for some, it'll be completely different for others.
No, what you don't understand is that narcissist isn't a feeling that you have. They never switch off.
I never said they switched off.
It never changes. So if you have no empathy, say somebody who was a dick to you and they fall and hit their knee and you don't feel bad for them, this is something that's never turned off in them. Doesn't matter whether they know them, don't know them, like them, don't like them, doesn't matter. It's not ever turned off. So when you look at like the Orange Monster and kind of what Tremonde said, what are you talking about? Where he basically just had all these delusions of grandeur. Anytime you can take his relationship with Dr. Fauci. And in the beginning, he just praised Dr. Fauci because Dr. Fauci was saying the things that he wanted him to say. But the minute somebody says something that he doesn't want them to say, all that praise goes away and they're a complete fucking idiot. Even though before he was saying, this is the top infectious disease person in the United States. He's the smartest motherfucker there is. But the minute he disagrees with him, he doesn't know anything. He's stupid. That's true. That is narcissism. Anytime something doesn't fit your agenda, even if the world, if every scientist in the world got together and said, this is the top scientist in the world, and you said that he was, but he disagreed with you once, he's stupid. That's how they are all the time. It's not something that ever switches off. This is what I'm talking about is an actual medical diagnosis of a personality disorder. You're talking about traits of people. So you
Right.
could say, as a layperson, that person's narcissist. Okay. So in your opinion, they have narcissistic traits, but they're not a narcissist, most likely.
All right.
Kind of like you would say, oh, this motherfucker's batshit crazy. Well, yeah, is he batshit crazy? By your definition, he's batshit crazy, but is he, could a psychiatrist or a psychologist say, get the big rubber stamp and say, batshit crazy? Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely not.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I wonder how many
So-
rubber stamps are out there that got stamped.
Batshit crazy. But do you think that the narcissistic person thinks they can outsmart that psychologist or psychiatrist that's trying to do their assessment?
Well, the thing about a narcissist is they don't have to be smart. First of all, being a narcissist
Correct.
doesn't mean that you're a fucking genius. You could be, no offense to people that do lay jobs, but you could be a gas station attendant and be a narcissist and think that you're smarter than everybody in the fucking world, but you're really not. This is wiring, or this is situational, what things that happen to you as a child, or like I said, just how you're genetically wired to be a narcissist. Or these people will say that they're the best at everything, but really they have nothing that they've ever accomplished or ever done. You don't have to be smart to be a narcissist. It's in your head.
Uh-oh.
So
Tremonti's got his hand up.
Do you think that we're grooming, like as a society, people to be that way? Because now everybody gets a trophy for participating. Everybody gets told that they're super special from the time that they're born. People make up names for their kids that are not usual. Like, you don't want to be Jenny or Bobby anymore. We're going to be some random new name that you can't even spell because we want them to be unique and special.
I don't
What were
think
you gonna
that's
say, Todd?
narcissistic to be have a name that's self-identifying all to yourself. I mean, a lot of these names that we see nowadays, yeah, it sounds like their parents are trying to get away from that. Having a name that identifies just for you is okay. I understand that part. I mean, you don't, if you're breaking out of the norm. But on also with that
Stop clicking.
said, there we go. But with that said, I mean, are you going to give in to the traditional names, right? I've met people.
What does it have to do with anything? Will you stop rambling?
He's going on his random tangent. Tamande, I'm going to give you the microphone. Go ahead.
He wanted to say something and you
Why?
hopped in. Now he lost his
Now
train
you
of thought.
got again. Jesus,
No.
Okay.
It's
I'm-
Tremonti.
Okay, so have you all seen the film Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you all find that to be labeled as like a person who is not like do we find him to be
No.
narcissistic.
no?
No.
How do you not?
Because I don't feel like I would have to watch the movie again, but I don't ever feel like there was a point in time where he just thought that he was smarter than everybody else. He was just very clever.
Okay.
He didn't, and everything that he did, I don't think that there was many times, I don't think there was any time really when he was, like, he didn't really have evil intent. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to have evil intent to be a narcissist, but I don't ever feel like he didn't seem to have like this sense of entitlement. He just seemed like a guy who was trying to make his way from a very young age, and he was very intelligent. And then, even after he got caught, if you remember, he became like didn't he become like what do you call it? Like not
He
an
worked
advisor.
with the FBI.
Mhm.
Yeah, like he was like a consultant with the FBI.
Yes. To catch like fraud activity happening.
And he didn't he actually passed the bar. I mean, he actually studied for the bar and passed the bar, right? Or one of those, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's a pretty fascinating story, but I don't know. I mean, the downside is always, and one of the things that I always say that, and it's not really I'm sure there's no psychiatrist that listen to our podcast. This is an idiot podcast, and I'm not an expert on psychology or psychiatry. I know very little about it. But I think that kind of the downside is anytime you go to see a psychiatrist, you're going there for help. They're going to give you some sort of a label. And if you don't fit the criteria of what they think that you might have, they will give you their own diagnosis. So let's say that maybe your psychiatrist thinks that you have some sort of a personality disorder, but you don't fit exactly into any of the criteria or the diagnostic criteria of a specific personality disorder. Well, they might then give you a diagnosis of personality disorder not defined or other personality disorder. I mean, generalization. I don't know if that's the exact diagnosis, but basically they can do that. So if you meet one criteria from narcissistic personality disorder, and you meet one criteria from antisocial personality disorder, and you meet one from histrionic personality disorder, then they can say, well, personality disorder not defined or something like that. So not that that's a bad thing, but people going to get help can get a label because that's what they're going to do. They have to give you a diagnosis, just like a psychologist does. They're going to give you a diagnosis. So if he went and got evaluated by a psychiatrist or a psychologist, which I'm sure he did when he got arrested or whatever, I'm sure they gave him a diagnosis. I don't know which one they gave him, but since I'm not a trained psychiatrist or a psychologist, and we're just talking about watching the movie, and of course it was probably because it was Leonardo DiCaprio and I love him, I wouldn't say that he's I wouldn't say he was narcissistic.
Yeah. I think at the end of that movie, which I thought was hilarious, was that starred Tom Hanks, am I right?
No.
Leonardo
You're wrong.
DiCaprio.
And there was someone who was chasing him.
It was Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Tom Hanks. And at the end of the
But
movie,
it's Leonardo.
yeah, you're right about the narcissistic thing, behavior, because at the end, when he somehow he turns himself in or whatever, but Tom Hanks goes, turn around, no one's chasing you. We gave up on you. We're not chasing you anymore. We don't want you. And at that point, he says, okay, I can help you. Right? I think that's how it ended. Right?
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening
No
to
one
the
wants to hear that.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Would you like to hear the diagnostic criteria of narcissistic personality disorder?
Tremonde would. He's been holding on tight to hear this.
Yes.
I'd like to hear the diagnosis of it.
Oh, okay. Would you like to hear the diagnostic criteria, or you just want to hear the diagnosis? The diagnosis is narcissistic personality
Now,
disorder.
is there a difference between diagnostic and diagnosis?
Okay.
Mute yourself. Mute yourself, Ron.
Diagnostic criteria for narcissistic personality disorder, as by the ICD-10 code, is F60.81. In case anybody really wants to know, it is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior, need for admiration, and lack of empathy, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. In other words, you have to have 5 or more of these in order to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay.
Go slowly so I can make a check mark to see if I have them.
I think we all have them.
Okay, everybody do this. Ron's, decide if you have these.
Just put a little hash mark if you got it.
Actually, I've gotten the 9 official criteria
You shut
for
up.
NPD.
Yeah, I said you had to have 5 of them.
Do you have all 9, Rons?
Okay. I will talk about them and then I will give examples. Sound good?
Sounds
of course
good.
It does. Has a grandiose sense of self-importance. Look at me! I can't put my phone on silence. Need for admiration. Look at me! I have a black belt.
Look at me! I wear my earpiece all the time. My Bluetooth. Ooh.
And lack of empathy, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. 5. Has a grandiose sense of self-importance, exaggerated achievements and talents. Look at my black belt. Expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. We got to get Ron's a monocle. Number 2 is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love.
I don't think we can check the box for that for Ron.
I don't have an example for that one. Unless you're talking about preoccupied with fantasies. You could just end it there. Preoccupied with fantasies, does a lot of gaming, and plays Dungeons and Dragons. Do you play Dungeons and Dragons, Rons?
I used to. Long time ago. I sold all my books.
That is how you met. That is how you met the love of your life.
I did. That was one of the areas.
Believes that he or she is special. Look at my black belt. And unique. And can only be understood by, or should associate with, other special or high status people or institutions. Requires excessive admiration. Look at my black belt. Has a sense of, this is number 5, has a sense of entitlement, i.e. unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her expectations. Do what I say. Number 6 is interpersonally exploitive, i.e. takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own ends. Number 7 lacks empathy, is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. Number 8 is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. And number 9 shows arrogant, haughty behaviors. Haughty.
What is haughty?
Or attitudes. Haughty. So after reading those 9 criteria, Rons, do you meet 5 of those?
I think we all meet 5 of those.
Oh my God, seriously. You clearly didn't understand.
Every day doesn't change. Like you don't waver from that.
It's not a transient thought or a transient mood that you had or anything like that. This is who you are. Tremonde, go.
No, I do not.
Do you know anybody like that? I don't think so.
Personally, no. But no, I don't believe I can identify with 5 of those. And I'm sure like each one of those have like its own assessment that kind of shows you where you fall within that. But no, I don't believe I can identify strongly with 5 of those.
Yeah. I don't think that I've ever met anybody who's a true narcissist. I think that I've met some people that were complete fucking assholes. Actually, I will say that probably the person that I just mostly did my contract with, he might be one. He's kind of Mr. Look at me, and definitely living beyond what his abilities actually are and expects to be the center of attention at all times and clearly takes advantage of other people for his own benefit. But he might be the only one I've ever met.
Yeah, and he has his own lackeys that inflate that for him as well.
Yes. Yep. Surrounds himself by people who give him nothing but accolades all the time.
So I feel like you have 2 past employers in that category, actually.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because
it's really interesting if the Swans kind of talk about what's your. I will credit the Swan because, like I said, I don't really do psych much. I've never met a true narcissist. Really, in clinical practice. So most of the time I'm just seeing people who are depressed or schizophrenic or, or bipolar disorder or something like that.
No.
Question. If we were to do an assessment to like pull like data on like the races of these people who may have been labeled or identified as narcissists, I wonder how many would fall under
the majority are white.
The majority are white males. Yes.
White males.
Okay.
But if you look at, so like I had a couple examples that I thought of, like, one that rhymes with grump or bump, or we're not going to say that word, definitely fits into that category. Slump. Yeah, slump. Yeah. But
Slump.
How about, what if you put him compared to like Hitler? Don't you think Hitler was a narcissist?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody had to think his way, or he would kill you, or, yeah. and
Well, yeah,
he's
I
the
mean,
best
part of
ever.
that is he was an underperformer, right? Basically, he was a house painter. Right? Isn't that what Hitler was? And couldn't take the criticism of being fired by somebody who was Jewish and overblew that whole thing. That was part of the trigger for him, right? So it's the same thing. If you are, it goes back to what I was saying was before you decided you were going to go off on a different tangent. What I was saying was Swan and I had this argument. I was building up to it by saying that I don't run across narcissists in clinical practice. But Swan wanted to argue with me and say that narcissists have low self-esteem. And I said, how can you have low self-esteem if you're a narcissist? It's not that
Because
they... Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think there can be both. There's like the ones who truly think they are better and more grandiose and smarter and better abilities and more important than everybody else. But I think that the other side of it, and I looked that up and it's true, that they use that as a way to, it's true, it's fact, as a way to boost their self-esteem or to have a false facade that they do have it to compensate for their truly low self-esteem.
Okay, now I'm going to go out on a limb again and say you're fucking wrong.
I am not wrong. It's their
Okay,
way
so-
to try to influence other people to think and perceive that they have a good sense of self-esteem, to inflate themselves, to promote the fact that they don't.
Okay, I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say that they don't have low self-esteem.
Okay.
I'm going to say that their self-esteem is, and I'm using the DSM-5 criteria, is that their self-esteem is fragile. There's a little bit of a difference there. So say, for example, I'm a narcissist, but I'm a janitor, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I didn't clean this office as well as my boss said I should clean it. So my boss comes and says, hey, Beef Man, do you mind cleaning this office again? It's not quite as clean as we would like it to be. So I'm like, okay, fine. I go clean it. But that comment crushed me, and I hold on to it. It's not because my self-esteem was low. It's because my self-esteem is fragile. So I think I'm the greatest thing in the world, and you, who is beneath me, just told me that something I did wasn't up to par. And then I hold that grudge, and I hold that comment. I might hold it for years and years and years and always relive it over and over again, because I always have to have praise. It's not that my self-esteem is low. I don't think any less of myself. It's that you said something that I did that shook my self-esteem.
I don't agree with that to a point.
Shut up, Ron.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have to shut up. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you're already down and you're low self-esteem, it doesn't help matters that when you think you did a good job, someone comes in and kicks you down even more, right? I'm not saying that, if you think you're the best janitor in the world where you're coming from, right? Yeah, that's a blow to you. That's a blow to your ego. But if you're already down, and I've seen this where someone's having a bad day, you walk in like, well, you didn't do a good job that you could have. You just bashed them down even further than where they're at. Now, you have no way of knowing they're having a bad day. But sometimes, it happens, right? So
everybody else is confused as me about what Ron's is talking about, because we were talking about specifically about being a narcissist.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that sometimes that, you walk into it and you're not a narcissist and shit happens. What about a covert narcissist? Are you a covert narcissist?
A narcissist in secret?
Yeah. Yeah, they tend to be more go ahead.
I feel like
Again, to be a narcissist. Okay, never mind.
So how about this? Do you think, so I know narcissists that have, do you think that they have more plastic surgery, or they're super materialistic, all that stuff? How can you be the best if you need more stuff to make you better, like plastic surgery? Or
because you're entitled to it. Again, did you guys hear my
I did. So, but if you
like you did,
We did.
I agree with the beef man. It's not that they lack the confidence or that, like, they have a lot of it, as he was saying, like it's fragile. And so if I have a lot of it, I can't let a drop of it get below,
Okay, so if
like my
you
my
were
my goal. And so if it drops one drop below that, I need to get that refilled. And
okay,
it,
so if I said your nose was ugly, you would go out and have a nose job because I said your nose was ugly.
No, not necessarily, because
Tremonti
your
doesn't need a
opinion.
nose job.
Shut up, Ron.
No, because your opinion doesn't matter, but you said it to me and you're beneath me, so you damaged my ego momentarily. It doesn't mean that I think that you're right. It means that you didn't compliment my nose. Is which is what you should
Okay.
have done.
And you have a
So I
beautiful
hold
nose.
on to that.
And then what do you do with that?
Well, you made a comment, and so to me, I'm like, well, fuck that bitch. She doesn't know anything, and I might outwardly not. You wouldn't even know that it bothered me outwardly because I hold myself in such a high regard that I'm not going to let you see that you damaged my ego. And I might hold it in. But again, I'm not going to go get a nose job because of what you said, because you're beneath me.
right. Or what I think that they would do is they would find 5 other people to confirm that my nose is good,
Yep.
and to outnumber your one comment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're going to constantly seek other people's approval. And they might have foolishly asked you about it in the first place. And you might just be an asshole. Because you're used to dealing with this asshole too. So you're like, well, I got to deal with this asshole anyway. Might as well tell them they benefit from a nose job. But again, look at he who shall not be named. Every time someone didn't say something that he liked, he attacked them viciously and surrounded himself by people who would say nice and wonderful things about him. In the
Oftentimes.
thousands, in the millions. He'd go on TV and would do whatever. That's what a narcissist does.
Yes. Consult with those who are beneath him, never consulting with those who have the knowledge or education or who could possibly hold any more power than they do. And once that person who may hold some more power comes at them from a way that they don't appreciate, then they are quickly withdrawn or replaced. And then attention,
exactly.
as we said earlier, is quickly sought out from others who are typically beneath them.
Yeah, so basically exactly like you said. So, and even if you're the smartest person in the world, he only likes you until you say what he wants to hear. And then if you don't, you're stupid. And narcissists do this also. So narcissists have to have the top hairdresser. They have to have the smartest doctor who went to the best school. They have to have, even if they don't have the monetary funds for it, that's what they not want. That's what they need. Narcissists don't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily mean you're some successful person somewhere.
Are narcissists better liars then?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I would suspect that probably I would suspect probably not, because like Tremonti said, you're going to surround yourself with people who believe what you say, and if they don't, you get rid of them. They're not in your circle anymore. That's why I said you don't have to be you're not necessarily because you're a narcissist, you're at the top tier of society. You can have a low fucking IQ and never have graduated high school and still be a narcissist.
So, and they probably don't believe that they're lying. They think that what they're saying is true.
I grew up with someone like that who lied a lot, who always had the best. And I don't know whether it was narcissistic or he was just wanted to fit in and he was a liar, right? So that's why I asked that question.
Well, if you're talking about somebody who was, so is this like in your teenage years or?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so you have to remember that teenagers are inherently narcissistic.
No, also, let me add to that is that he was like that as an adult.
Okay, so that's different. So when you look at teenagers, you're like, oh, okay, this pretty much fits the bill of teenagers in general, right? They're asshole narcissists, but they grow out of it. So you can't really, I don't even think you can diagnose kids as narcissists until they're adults. I think you can't diagnose them until they're adults.
So do you think that they get, it's either genetically born into them or it's environmentally fed into them? Like if, they get good attention from this behavior, that those who are going to be narcissists get that behavior that and continue it into adulthood.
I think that's environmentally fed into them, because if you think it's genetics, and I've worked with both your kids, I have never seen them to be arrogant or narcissistic, right? Now, that's on my personal level, because I'm looking at the B-man's face, right? Skylar's
You've
always
met the
been
daughter. You've
Yeah,
met
I
the
have.
daughter.
The daughter's your typical kid, right? And yeah, she can be a little arrogant, but then again, I mean, I blame that on her mom, right? No, I think you're,
I mean, she usually can back it up.
yeah.
So, I
You
mean,
still
she's
don't have to
not
be that way.
often
You
wrong.
still don't have to be that way.
And I personally, worked with Skylar, and I think he's a great kid. He's never been to one to be arrogant or narcissistic. I've always found him to be humble.
Well, I would never think that either one of them have narcissistic personality.
Right. How did we get there, Ron?
Right. No, well, to the question is.
Well, I mean,
is it-
Tremonde's kid made my daughter wipe her butt. So, I mean,
See,
and then
that's
said I could do it myself. So maybe your
Is that-
kid's going to be a narcissist, Tremonde.
Right.
is that environmental or
Sociopath.
genetic? Right? Is it
Well,
environmental or genetic?
well, the other thing you have to remember is that psychology and psychiatry, this field of medicine, is not that old. I mean, we're talking what, 20, not even probably 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, they were still freaking using like ice pick type instruments to go through the nose to lobotomize people in psych departments instead of having a surgeon do it. Not that long ago. They still do electroconvulsive therapy. They still do shock therapy. So all these things that are not what I would consider like it's
that's the
great
fun
hard
stuff.
science. So when you ask, is it genetic, or is it part of their social, raising or the background? Who knows? Probably there probably are people who are born narcissists, but just like
Well,
there's
just
people
like
who are
there's,
hyper, and there's people who are born fucking evil.
yeah, I was just going to say
Yeah.
that. So,
Well, psychology,
Interesting.
so what? It's been around for 150 years or so it's not fairly new.
You didn't listen to what I said.
Of
Basically,
course, I
he
never
said
did.
basically
you didn't understand
within,
what I was.
it may have been around, but it's archaic still. And up to 20 years ago, we are still ice picking people up the nose.
The way you say it, this one, that makes a lot more sense. Right? I like the way you said that. That was very articulate, and to a simple point that I could understand it. So thank you. I
Yes, I'm
completely
glad
get
I
it
could
now.
dumb it down for you.
I didn't say dumb it down.
So, B-Man, I'm curious, what brought that question about for us today?
For Narcissus,
Mm-hmm.
Narcissus, Greek hunter, mythology, fell in love with his own reflection. By the way, that's where the word comes from.
That's,
What gave it? I don't know. The Swan brought it up, and yet she
Yeah.
has not talked about anything that she brought up in conversation at home.
what do we
Well,
want to
yeah,
talk-
we were talking about
Well-
it, and we mentioned
All
narcissism
the-
in the last podcast, and
But
it's
she's
like,
still, where's all the shit that you wrote? Where's all the stuff all the posts that you were going to talk about and all this other stuff? And you were going to talk about this person's post that you read. You haven't talked about any of that, and we've been on for an hour.
Oh my God.
And so I asked you once again, you had all these things to say, and I kept telling you, save it for the podcast, Swan. Where are you Are you going to talk on the podcast?
I don't know. You guys aren't giving me the ability to talk, but it's fine. It's fine.
that's
You got
right.
10 minutes at least to talk about the shit that you say you researched for the podcast.
Oh
Slap-
my goodness.
You know
So-
what this is? This is Slaptail Squad Couples Therapy 101. I like this. Weighing in with Tremonde. So go ahead, Swan. Say what you want to say.
Okay.
Okay, geez, she's so meek. Okay, don't yell at me.
Don't yell at me. No. So I don't know. This one person that is on my Facebook, and I don't even know why her posts pop up whenever she comments on. She's on all these narcissistic support group pages. Apparently thinks that she used to be married to a narcissist. And every time she comments on these posts, they pop up on mine. And I read them and I just have to laugh because what these people write is so stupid. So like, for example, here's one. So the quote on the thing was, narcissists don't think there's anything wrong with them. And then it says, life with a narcissist is like a bag of tricks and a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. You're never going to be unwrapping. You never know what you're going to unwrap next. You could be constantly are walking on eggshells, and you never know what they will morph into out of thin air. And then this person commented, total truth bomb. In fact, narcissists think that everyone else but them is crazy, wrong, or messed up, and bad but them. I've lived with one for years. And then she comments on like to all these people's posts and tells them what to do. If you knew better, and then in the next breath goes in and says, I've been going through court battles for 8 years about this. If you'd been doing so much, if you know so much, then how come you still got court battles going on 8 years ago? Crazy.
Well, again, though, these people are probably not narcissists. It's just their lay definition and saying, oh, this person doesn't agree with what I say. These are the things they did. And so clearly they're a narcissist. Well, guess what? If you're going through a divorce with somebody, they don't agree with what you fucking say.
Yeah.
I think it was said best by George Orwell, the most effective way to destroy a people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Don't know what.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I was commenting on what she said, right? That's where she's going with it.
I honestly think that you didn't listen to anything she said. You were just looking up a quote to freaking drop into the podcast.
Okay, sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Like another comment on one that she wrote was agreeing with the person's post about how her situation was and writing back to this author of a book about narcissism. And so she's writing to the author. Tina, I completely understand and feel your pain and frustration. I've been going on 7 years into it's been going on for 7 years into going into a broken, frustrating court system who continuously tries to protect the narcissistic parent. He has verbally abused our former GAL, whatever that is, like some attorney liaison person, but she refuses to notify courts, and those are the courts that she works for, and wants to walk away from our case. But by doing this has enabled the narcissistic parent to continue to abuse others, like the counselors that my daughter liked. Now, almost 15 years ago, or my daughter's 15, and she still has so many emotional triggers that we are dealing with. We will get through this one day and look back and say, wow, this is a wild ride. We have made it. Thank you for your continued work. And I don't, it's so dumb. Why? I don't understand.
We are now all dumber for what you said.
Yeah, we
May
are.
God have mercy on your soul. Everyone in this room
is now dumber. Yeah, we're all dumber. And I get sucked into this and read it because it makes me
listen.
angry.
Again, if you took 5 minutes to actually see what defines a narcissist, and it's not like Swan can look at this list and definitively and what's objectively label me a narcissist. Just like I can't look at this list and definitively and objectively label the Swan as a narcissist. Because we can't be objective, because we know each other, we're married to each other. You have to take a third-party person to look at it, and not somebody who's acting on emotion, just who's a friend of yours. If you were to truly label somebody with a personality disorder, I mean, I don't even diagnose people with personality disorders because I'm not a freaking psych nurse practitioner. I mean, if I think somebody has depression, I'm like, okay, they got depression. Maybe they have bipolar. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tossing it up until I don't really know for sure. Schizophrenia, I can pretty much pick that one out. But when we're talking about personality disorders, when you start talking about triggers to people who are patients and they get pissed off about stuff that a normal person would get pissed off of, all of a sudden you've decided, oh, this person's got explosive anger disorder or something stupid, because you can do anything you need to get the reaction you want to. Just like these people who were talking about their significant others or whatever. Oh, he's a narcissist. You don't fucking know. Come on. If you want them person to be totally labeled as a narcissist, they need to go get evaluated to see if they really do meet that criteria. A narcissist can't hide that they're a narcissist. That would be beneath them. Think about it.
Well, that's where the
You-
covert narcissism comes in. Yeah, it's actually a thing, covert
Why?
narcissism.
Why would you get covert? If you're a guy, trust me, if you see somebody more than once, they know what shit you're pulling. I can tell when somebody's trying to pull shit over on me. Trust me. Doing it a long time.
Is
And
that a
not
narcissistic behavior?
even being a psych provider. I can tell when people are pulling shit.
Okay, so let's talk about this one person's ex-husband that we both know. We'll just
Okay.
call
Are you gonna
Let's-
get to the
let's
shit
just-
that you had
yeah,
planned in
we'll
the
just
last
call him
freaking
we'll just call him Joseph.
Jerry.
Rosif?
Do you think that he fits the category of narcissist? Like
Why don't you explain it?
so describing him, he comes off as a nice, caring person when you first meet him and tries to stop trying to distract me, and he's super friendly, has a bunch of friends, or says he has lots of friends, brags about how many friends that he has, but probably really doesn't have many close friends, because once you get to know him, he's underlyingly an asshole and a narcissist who thinks that he's better than everybody else and smarter than everyone else, and he needs the most important high power everything. Like, I was married to a PA, but she treated me badly, and okay, so he's had 3 wives now. The first one, the mother of his 2 children, she was a accountant or something, and he found that she was boring and didn't do what he wanted anymore, had her own mind and no like abilities, probably that too. Didn't do that no more after a few kids. Yeah,
Did
2
this
holes.
one,
Try a
but
different
not
hole.
this
Not
one.
that one. Not that
We'll
one.
do this one, but not that one.
Probably. So he found another one, had an affair with her, decided that the new one was better, and divorced the other one. But now the other one was batshit crazy, tells everybody that she's batshit crazy, and turns her against everybody. Then marries the new one, who's a PA, has a few kids with her, and I don't know what happened to that relationship, but he says, no, she's not dead, but he said that she cheated on him. And that, so she's evil and awful and terrible too, and won't let him see his kids, all that. But he's the best person ever. So then he woos the new girlfriend, who's a doctor, and treats her
Sort of.
great for a few little bits. What? Go ahead.
Yes.
Carry on. Treats her great, wines and dines her, appears to be caring.
69 there.
Probably 69er. Yeah. Appears to be caring. Oh, is the best father ever of his 3 little kids, who are not even, like, the oldest isn't even 5 when they get together. So now he's got 5 kids by 2 baby mamas. Marries
Amateur.
the third one.
Amateur.
And then as soon as they're married, the real drop comes out, and he's really an asshole. But still thinks he's better than everyone else. No one's commenting on anything. You're just making dumb faces. So clearly,
We can't interrupt you because the sound will drop out.
well, what do you think about that person? You know them too, and you've met them. And when you first met him, how did he appear? Like a nice
Right.
person. What?
Frightened.
Frightened? Why would he appear frightened?
I believe I explained this to you before. When a man meets another man,
The penis opens up.
no, that's when one man loves another man,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
going to have intercourse. The one exactly does open up to accept the other penis. Yes, that's how it works, is my understanding. When a man meets another man, there is an understanding between them that is subconscious, conscious, what have you. It's not something that they try to happen, but dominance is expressed by one over the other immediately. It's not something that you try to do. It's not something that you go out of your way to do. People that go out of the way to do it, actually, most of the time, they don't even become the dominant person.
Right.
The first time I met him, I already exerted my dominance over him.
Okay, so we're not talking about your dominance over him now, but how does that relate to his narcissism?
You
Do you
said,
think
what did he seem like when I first met him? And I said, frightened.
overly friendly, right? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I had to push his head away from my penis.
oh yeah, good, good.
He's like,
Why
let me suck
is
your
that
dick. Like,
good?
"Oh, let me suck your dick. Red Rocket. No, it's yes, yes. It was all about look at the stuff that I have. Um, me, blah blah blah.
I got a new boat. We have a
I got
nice
a new bike.
house. Here's my motorcycle. I have the brand new blah 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 cell phone. Look at my wife. She's a doctor. Like that I think
Yeah,
he's a narcissist for sure. And then as soon as she didn't think his way, she was crazy.
But aren't we all like that at some point when we want to show off?
No.
Well, do we always want to show off the accolades of our other half? Like the Swan is a a nurse, and she gets out there every day and busts her ass. And I would
no,
say,
no.
you know
We're
what, you
she's
the
not.
beef.
Well, the thing is, he
God,
was over the top.
okay,
You're saying it's very common for you, like you say very nice things about your wife.
all the
You're
time. I
not,
want to live.
and you're bragging about her, but not in an arrogant way. You're expressing your love for your wife. No one is going to think that you're bragging in an asshole way. Is it bragging? Sure, maybe, but people perceive it as you're admiring what your wife does for you and how much you love her. People don't consider that an asshole move. He didn't do that. That's not what he was doing.
Yeah, I feel like this person that you're describing it's not so much of admire this object that I have. I want you to admire the fact that I have it.
Right.
Like
Yes.
I don't want you to admire the boat. I want you to be admire the fact that this is something that I have and you want to be like me. Not that you want to have this boat of your own, that you want to be like me. That's what you are after.
Yes. Exactly.
So basically, riding the coattails of somebody.
No.
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 He's the high and powerful, and we should look up and want to be like him.
In other words, he wants you to envy what he is and what he's obtained. And if you don't, again, that's a strike to their fragile ego.
Okay, now when you put it
So
like
let,
that, I understand.
so let's say they're like, hey, Rons, look at this brand new Harley Davidson that I just paid $35,000 for. Isn't it awesome? And you're like, hey, that's cool, man. That's
Or
not good enough.
or when you say, "Hey dude, I got a new blah 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 gun." He's like, "Oh yeah, I got this one and I got this one and I had 4 of these and oh yeah, that's a nice gun, but mine cost $2,300 more." Like
I know
it's a one upper big time.
I have would. All right. With that said, wouldn't that be also like sibling rivalry?
No.
No.
Because I know that my
I feel like you're not
brother.
getting.
No. My brother's like that. Well, he is. I mean, he'll come up and we could have the identical item, but the way you described it was like mine was $2,300 more, so mine is much better than yours. And I'm like, really? Right? So I understand where that's coming from.
Right, but it would be as if you said, instead, if you were like, hey, man, that's cool. And that's not good enough for him. It would have been like, you need to praise him for what he did. You need to say how great it was that he did that, or that he has that, or that it's better than yours. That's what they need. That's what they want. If you had just said something like, honestly, and feeling like, hey, man, that's cool, that's not good enough. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's not what they want. What they need from you is excessive admiration for the things they have or what they do. And when you don't give that, or if they feel even slightly inferior to you, then they're not going to have you. They don't want you in their life whatsoever, or you're stupid, or you don't know anything, or whatever. Same guy, right? Decides he should call me when he hurts his arm. Hurts his arm, calls me, and I give him my advice on what he should do. And, I'm sure he called me an idiot after that and said that wasn't good enough. But, is even though I know something and it's okay, it's good enough for you to call me. I'm good enough for you to call me. But if I don't tell you what you want to hear, I'm stupid. Before you made the call, I was smart in your mind. But as soon as I make the call and I don't say exactly what you want to hear with your limited knowledge base, I'm stupid now. I was smart 2 minutes before. Now I'm not.
Yeah, I've dealt with that person before. I really have. I flipped the script on them, though. I said, listen, you called me when you're ready to come to my terms because I'm going to help you, right? Because you came to me for help. We'll talk. Until then, don't bother calling me until you're ready to do things on my term. And I've hung up on that person. Did I get a phone call back? You betcha I did. Did they agree to my terms? Oh, yeah. And did I help them out? Yeah, but there was that understanding that I'll help you out, but here are the terms that we're going to, and this is how it's going to proceed.
But now do you understand why that person's not a narcissist?
No, I don't.
Because the real narcissist wouldn't have called you. They'd have found somebody else who did it for them the way they wanted it done, without telling them that they were wrong.
Right.
Okay, that I understand. I'm glad you explained it to me, Swan.
They won't admit that they were wrong to you because they don't feel that they are.
You are so wise beyond your years.
Thank
you.
Like I said earlier, like I'm certain, like if you were to complete an assessment, like each of those 9 areas that the B man spoke about, like you will identify within some category of each. It's just like if a person says, I don't choose to marry outside of my race. It doesn't mean that they're a racist, but I think kind of how the way that Ron's is looking at it is like, because you have this one thought, oh, I'm not going to marry outside my race. Okay, now you get grouped in as a racist when that's not necessarily the case. So just because you have these natural thoughts of feeling towards someone else about something, it doesn't mean that you're a narcissist. It just
you have to inherently have that category all the time, not just one little specific moment of it.
Yeah, it fits your criteria of what you consider the best. Yeah. Maybe you consider that the best or the top peak of what should be expected for you to have. But yeah, it doesn't make it. Yeah, technically it wouldn't make you a racist. It just means that that's the criteria that you've set for yourself, and that's all there is to it.
And Tremonde, whenever you get married, doesn't matter to who, I will definitely come to your wedding.
Random thoughts by the Rons. Maybe he doesn't want to invite you.
I'm going to show up.
I'm coming anyway. Has a sense of entitlement. Unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her expectations.
He wants to sit at the bridal party table as well.
Right. Ron wants to officiate, and what you want to walk me down the aisle as well, Ron?
I would be honored. As far as officiating, I don't think I can officiate, but that would be cool.
Is that because the dyslexia?
You're going back all the way there. No, I don't think I could officiate, but I wouldn't mind walking Tremonde down. I'd be honored to walk him down.
Well, I'm sure his dad would rather do it, but
one on each arm.
I mean, and if he's gonna pick somebody other than his father, I feel like it might be somebody other than you.
Well, if it is.
I mean, even if it was somebody from this show, it's still not going to be you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question. No, do you think that narcissists group themselves with other narcissists?
Ooh.
Do you think that that's who they associate with?
Going back to what was said, going back to going back to what was said earlier, it's like I don't think that's going to happen because they want yes men and people that they think are not as smart as them. They really want subordinates who aren't smart and who just kind of toe the line and say what they want. So being with another narcissistic person just kind of cancels them out. Then you're going to get this battle of egos. And we've seen that play out on this political field. What do? They get rid of the narcissistic people or what they think people are smarter than them. See, I follow the topic along.
Okay, well, I was going to say yes and no.
Okay.
I feel like a narcissist would associate with other narcissists, but not be their friend. But they would associate so that they could always be competing with each other.
I kind of think that too. And then so I Googled celebrity narcissists, and this is what came up. Are you ready? And this is old from a couple years ago.
Tom
So
Cruise.
anyway, what?
Tom Cruise?
No.
Oh.
Top 9 down. Madonna is number 9.
Madonna.
Paris Hilton, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Kylie
Paris
Jenner.
Hilton's always going to be on
Shut
the list.
up.
I don't
Kylie
know
Jenner.
that person.
Kendall Jenner, Justin Bieber, Kim Kardashian, and number 1 is Kanye West. So Kim and Kanye are married while going through a divorce now, but if they're putting them both as narcissists, how does that work out? And
I don't know. I would say that there probably are not. This is just a stupid list.
It is. But 4 of them are all related to the Jenner family or Kardashian or whatever.
Again, though, it's just some stupid list. I mean, what's the basis for it? What is there an actual evaluation? Are you basing this on? Are you basing this on stuff that they've actually done? You can honestly see that our president was mentally ill. You can see anybody who is a medical person who does not feel like he was mentally ill. Like I said, all those doctors who were his quote doctors, I hope they never work fucking again because they dropped the ball. They didn't follow their oath. That man is mentally ill and was running our country. I mean, once again, as a nurse practitioner, because we're the dumbest of all the medical people, but I can tell you he's mentally ill.
I mean, we said that months ago. Like, dude, there's something wrong with him when he can't even have a complete sentence without clambering off on stuff that's not relevant at all to a worldwide pandemic and thinking more about his grandiose Twitter tweets and inflated self-esteem and somebody saying mean things about him than fixing world problems.
Here's one of the things I really wanted to read from that I thought was kind of amusing. And this comes directly from the DSM-5. DSM-5 or V, whatever you prefer. Individuals with narcissistic personality disorder generally have a lack of empathy and have difficulty recognizing the desires, subjective experiences, and feelings of others. They may assume that others are totally concerned about their welfare. They tend to discuss their own concerns in inappropriate and lengthy detail while failing to recognize that others also have feelings and needs, and they are often contemptuous and impatient with others who talk about their own problems and concerns. These individuals may be oblivious to the hurt their remarks may inflict. For example, like exuberantly telling a former lover that I am now in a relationship of a lifetime. And this is my favorite one. Boasting of their own personal health in front of someone who is sick. What does that sound like?
I don't know. Someone who had the best medical treatment offered and beat the coronavirus while many, many others were dying.
Bunch of experimental treatments.
Who probably didn't even have it, to be honest. And then
goes and tells the rest of America not to be afraid of coronavirus because, you'll get the best treatment. No, because there is no treatment that is approved that everybody else is getting. You got a bunch of stuff that was given to you because you were the president to try to shorten your course.
Privilege.
Exactly.
Right on, my man.
Again, what? What did you just fucking say?
He said he wants someone to ride on his side.
But like I said, kind of like what Ron's was talking about when he was talking about his lay version of being a narcissist. He's talking about narcissistic. He's talking about just narcissistic traits. Lots of people have narcissistic traits. Doesn't make them a narcissist. So just like your little friend, she's calling her ex-husband, who she doesn't get along with or agree with.
Right.
She labels him a narcissist. Is he? Who knows? Maybe.
I think he's probably more on the lines of just a douche, but a douche with short man syndrome. But going with that, that's what she thinks.
But I kind of agree with you that probably the person that you gave as an example, you might be right. He actually might be a narcissist. It's very possible.
I truly do believe that. I do.
But once, of course, again, I think it's important to say, once again, members of the Great Slaptail Nation, none of us know shit. So it's very important that you should never take anything that we say seriously, and definitely don't write about us in any type of paper that you're doing for school, because that would be really bad, because you're gonna get this shit fucking wrong. And yeah, specifically me.
They might
The
want
rest
to
of them
do
are
a
far
psych on
more
us.
intelligent. The rest of them are far more intelligent than I am. So if you're gonna listen to anybody, definitely listen to them and not me.
They might want to do a psych eval on us and see if, I had someone do a therapy session with me, and they got an A+ or a high passing grade on their report. So that was good.
They did a therapy session on you?
Yeah.
Were gloves involved?
No, but I had to fill in for a last minute cancellation. They called me up. Hey, I need someone to do an evaluation on. And so I filled out like a 300 questionnaire thing, and they did an evaluation with me.
So they didn't do therapy. There's a difference between therapy and...
No, and there was also a therapy session involved too.
Okay, Laurence.
I'm looking at Tremonti right now. He's just smiling. You can tell this is going somewhere.
Are you saying you're the reason why this person got a good grade?
Yeah, I would like to think I am. Yes,
because
I am.
You checked the boxes of their assessment?
No, they actually did. They had to do a paper on me.
Yeah, like I say, they got a good grade.
So you're the subject matter that was you were the reason that they got an A, not because they did a good paper, or is it the content of the paper because you're so awesome that, or maybe fucked up, that gave them a good.
I was the subject of the paper, right? Or part of the subject of the paper that they did, or the research. So I was part of it. I'm not claiming 100% of it, but
you are claiming.
You can claim any percent of it, because it doesn't matter if they did their paper on a dog. It was their writing that gave them the
if they
grade.
did it on a dog, I wouldn't have mentioned that. But this was for someone who was going to be a counselor.
You're right. I don't mean to brag or anything.
I don't mean to brag, but hey, my fucked up life provided them with the necessary passing grade.
Somebody evaluated me.
Yes.
Because of me.
Yes.
You got a good grade.
Yes, it was a great grade, I think.
Tremonti, as an educator, what do you have to say in that regard? Just curious. If I do a book report on
a book report,
the color purple, and I get a good grade, I get an A. Is it because of the book, The Color Purple?
It's not.
No.
So the content of your report doesn't give you the grade?
Nope.
I didn't say that the content.
Not the content. The content, yes, but the actual subject doesn't give you a good grade.
So, Ron, do you have this person's paper up on your refrigerator?
No.
Did you autograph? Did you autograph it for them?
No, I did not. But I was made aware of their results.
Were you going to do that?
You should.
No.
So in other words, Ron, you're proud of yourself for being batshit crazy or having.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't that the true definition of a narcissist? To a point.
I just want to know then, what did this person give you a diagnosis?
They gave me some advice. I mean, they're not a doctor. I mean,
what was the advice?
To be less angry at life.
You could have found that in a fortune cookie.
I could have, but I didn't have a fortune cookie at the time. And to be more open and honest and listen more, right?
Wait, so this is the advice that you were given?
If I can remember correctly back then, yeah.
And you found this to be such great.
The thing is,
life-changing.
I was gonna.
Well, it's sort of like why the B-Man does this, right? It's therapeutic. It really is. I mean, when you really think about it, all we really want sometimes, and I guess it borderlines on narcissism, is someone to listen to us. So and that's all I guess that's where it was going, that they were willing to listen to my problems and then offer me some sort of insight in how I could correct my bad behavior will go with. So it worked out, I guess.
Along that lines, I was gonna say kind of like what Tremonde said. I'm like, it seems kind of like pretty generic, non-committal stuff. Just like when you go to see a psychic, you see the psychic is like, you're coming to me because you have something you want to know.
You're like, yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That is why I'm here. Well, no shit, motherfucker. Why else would you go to a psychic?
That's like watching the John Edwards show all over again. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
That was such a wild show. You've never seen it?
Because you have questions about your
future.
I'm hearing.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I offer you a little bit of insight into.
Yes.
I offer you a little bit of insight to a therapy session I had. You're like, oh, yours. But I love Tremonde's assessment right there. You're batshit crazy, so I'll go with that. So I appreciate it.
No, I just felt that I felt like what Tremonde said. It was very generic, just shit to say. Like, yeah, that's pretty non-committal stuff that you should say.
Well, you don't want to reveal too much with the about the person or what was said, because there's that. It's personal. It's really personal and deep to me. It really was.
Nobody said you had to do that. We didn't say you had to do that.
You're right. You did. So I didn't want to, though. I mean,
I've had actual therapy.
Oh, and how'd that turn out?
I don't know.
You refused to go back?
No, I did it to myself. I just spoke in a mirror, and when I answered the questions, I put glasses on, and when I responded, I took the glasses off.
Does that make you look smarter when you put the glasses on?
Who was getting the therapy? The one with the glasses or the one without the glasses?
What do you think?
Well, I'm assuming the one with the glasses was the smarter one giving you the advice back.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yes.
Because glasses make people smarter. Look at Ron.
So thank you. So when you come out of the beaver's den, right, and you go see the swan, does she know what side of the person she's getting with? You or the smarter person?
Well, if he wears the glasses, clearly the smarter one.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Well,
so right now you're actually smarter than him.
But that would be adultery. If she got with the person with the glasses on.
I'm saying it's you. Else. So would it be adultery that she's sleeping with the other side of you?
Who said it was the other side of me?
If you wear the glasses.
It's a different person, Ron.
It's a different person, Rons.
Don't you know Clark Kent is not Superman? Different people.
It's role playing, Ron.
Oh, okay.
Role playing. When you stick that roll of quarters up your ass. Role playing.
Wow. You have a fascination with my ass, and I appreciate it, though.
Ooh, he appreciates your fascination with his ass.
Your anus.
Okay. Oh.
Tremonde, you putting clothes on, buddy?
Yeah, it's getting cold in here.
He's flexing. He's covering up the ink and
that's
everything.
Like the colors of my people right there.
I know.
It's pretty badass. I need that shirt.
Snazzy.
Thank you.
That shirt should go to the Beef Man. All right.
It's too big for you, Beef Man.
What?
It's too big for you. This would be like a nightgown.
We like it. Can you find old Tremonde? Because he had cool kicks and outfits.
Oh, you want to see some cool kicks?
I do.
Cool kicks.
By the way, for those who are just listening, I love your shirt, by the way, Beef Man.
This is one of my favorite new pairs.
Wow.
Now, did you get those at Goodwill, or did you go out and buy those?
I did not get those at Goodwill, even though I don't mind a good shoe at Goodwill. Can I show you a shoe that I did get from Goodwill? Watch this.
Yes.
Watch this.
Keep in mind, this is an audio podcast.
It's a fashion show, audio show.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Paid $7 for them.
Very nice. Very nice.
Saddle shoe.
It's a big
really
shoe.
Nice.
I'd like to see some saddle shoes on the Swan, but that ain't probably gonna happen. And what size shoe do you have there, Tremonde?
I range between an 11 and 12.
You know what they say?
Whoa, yeah.
Big shoes,
Yep.
Big feet.
big socks.
Big socks, yeah.
Socks.
Soft
Right.
socks. Soft, engulfing socks.
Oh
What
boy.
the fuck is that all
He
about?
likes it soft. The Ron's likes it soft.
Well, at his age, it probably is soft.
It is. It is.
And
As you've seen in the
engulfing.
locker room.
Ew.
What? Why, Rons? Why do you always talk about, Rons talks about that a lot, but I really don't spend hardly any time in the locker room whatsoever. I wait till all the freaking annoying fucking students are out of there before I go change. So I don't know why he always says he sees me in the locker room. And we haven't even been in the locker room for a fucking year.
So,
Anyway.
Ron's, I know your dojo does not have a shower facility. They just have a locker room. But did you ever go to a gym that previously did?
The last
Okay,
time I
and-
did was military.
Oh, well, that's a little crazy, but okay. So, but anyway, so hypothetically, if you were to go to a gym that had a shower facility, would you shower there? And,
Most likely not.
oh, so you wouldn't be one of those guys that sits naked on the bench?
No, I wouldn't.
No? Okay, just checking.
Because usually, actually, when I was in the military, okay, I would work out and then I would take off and go back to my room or a place of residence. So,
Okay.
okay,
Showering alone.
as always. Okay.
Okay, just
Almost
checking.
happened it.
All right, well, I feel like that's probably enough with the Ron.
Yes. Well, okay, so that's enough. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I want to say look forward to next week, folks, because next week, tentatively planned, we are going to do our Karate Kid podcast with me and the Rons and our special guest, Andy. So that should be pretty exciting. If the Rons has done all of his research, I will also do mine. It's going to be a full bore,
Nerd
to the
Fest.
top discussion nerd fest style with me, the Rons, and Andy. And you know what? It's probably going to be a two-parter. So be prepared for like 3 hours of talking, Rons.
I will. So I will catch up on all my Cobra Kai.
Care.
So
Did
I
you know
want to
Ron's
ask.
a martial artist?
Rons, wrapping it
And
up.
we're wrapping
Yeah, I
it
know,
up.
but I want to ask this
Wrapping it up,
question
dude.
just before we leave. My wife, Carrie, is into these historical dramas, Nightfall, the Crusades, and all that stuff.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah. So, how accurate is the sword play? Because you do medieval swording.
Actually, pretty good. The only thing that I thought was interesting was that he had a different size sword on his horse. I don't know how accurate that was. A lot of the depictions, when you see the hand in half or the two-handed sword, it looks longer in different depictions, but it's actually not two lengths of a sword.
So maybe you should keep this thought as a new podcast topic, and you can invite Carrie on as a guest.
Well, if
Carrie
we do that,
used
we're
to
going to
do
actually
radio.
invite my sensei on,
Right.
who is very versed in all of those things. So we
So
might.
I think that would be a good podcast idea. And on that note, we're gonna say goodbye for everyone.
Right.
And I
Tremonde
get to say
powers up.
goodbye to Tremonde because he had to drop out early for technical issues that Ron's could not help him with, unfortunately. So
He didn't have his
Tremonde,
charger. How am I going to do anything about that?
well, I'm just gonna say goodbye for him. Deuces from the Tremonde. And bye from the Swan. Ron, it's your turn. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Ron.
Hey, the big man, you got the last word.
Shut the fuck. You don't even have to fucking say that. Really, people are waiting for me. Adios, mooch fuckos.